Everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So I wanted to talk about the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and I wanted to kind of combine a lot of stuff in here. Like, I kind of wanted to focus on some new teaser images that we did actually get for episode 3 of the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. And I also wanted to talk about the big reveal at the very end of episode 2. And I kind of wanted to get into that here because it's interesting. Like that scene of Laurent, I guess. I mean, just in general, he was born from a walker. What does that mean overall? Is he a miracle, as the nuns were saying? Well, I want to get into all that here. So before going further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. I just posted a The Ones Who Live video, so if you're interested in that, I know I haven't talked about that show quite a bit, but it's just because there's not a lot to talk about with the show right now, but I will try to do some like topic videos on it, like talking about some ideas of like, I want to see this here. What do I want to see in episode 1 or in episode 2? Which characters need to make more of an appearance? Jadis, getting into her character a little bit. There is a new character named Pearl Thorne that seems to be very, very important, and she seems to actually be allied with Rick and is going to be a main character in this series. So I'm actually, like doing videos on her, giving some predictions there, and just like what I want to see from her character and all that for this season here. So obviously, if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, then make sure to be a subscriber. But let's first talk about, I guess, the whole Laurent Walker thing. So at the end of episode 2, it's revealed that obviously Laurent's mother, Lily, died, I guess, and became a walker. And, minutes later or however long it took later, Laurent was born. And so, to the nuns in that sense, it was like she's dead and Laurent was born from a walker. Just the whole thing there is insane. And again, I don't understand the technicalities of that whole situation. So like, I don't know if a situation like that happens. Is the baby going to be fine? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know a lot of that, but I think just focusing on, like just what the story is there and how it looks, right? Like Laurent is born from a walker. It's something that is just, first of all, so cool. So cool. Like that is something that you can just see. I don't even know, like Robert Kirkman never wrote a story like that in the comic. Like that just seems like a really cool idea for a zombie story, a zombie comic book story, right? So it's very, very cool. And you're just thinking about the fact that, yeah, the nuns witnessed this. And of course they're going to be like, this was a miracle. And then, that belief of him being the next Messiah and all of that when the world is crumbling and stuff makes a lot of sense because he was basically born when the world fell apart and it was in a situation like this. So it makes a lot of sense. And Laurent, because of it, is already a very, very unique character. I know some people have some issues with him, and I will say after episode 1, I could see some of those issues. But after episode 2, I feel bad for him. Like he just wants to be normal, and it's very, very hard for him to be normal in this world where he's been babied his whole life, and he's just trying to fit in with other kids, and he's being told that he's special for doing this and all that. And he doesn't really want to do that. It's like he has all this responsibility. And for him, he's just like, I don't want to do that. I just want to be a kid. Like, I just really want to be a kid. And I know some people are talking about the comparisons to The Last of Us. I do think it's different. Like The Last of Us, yes, there are some comparisons with that, but it is still very different. I talked about this before. I did do a video on this a couple of weeks ago. I do think it is very different. Like, I think obviously there's similarities with the overall story, but Laurent and Ellie are just very different characters. And I think Daryl and Joel, I guess there's more similarities like between them, but I still think they're different characters. Daryl's been a character since before Joel ever existed. So to me, I look at it overall and I'm like, the story, there's some similarities, but the majority of this show is so different and the story is so different from The Last of Us that I just think making that comparison is just, you can if you want, but you don't really need to, because you could also compare a lot of different aspects to a lot of different shows and stuff. And, there would still be things that are very, very similar. So to me, it's really not the same. Like we're meeting all these new characters, the experiments with the walkers being in France, the stuff with Madame Janae and her connections with the CRM and a lot of that, Caudron and stuff. Like there's just a very, very different story here. I don't think it's really that similar. There's some similar aspects, but I think you could also make that argument in a lot of franchises and a lot of stories and stuff. I think the issue here is more that The Walking Dead and The Last of Us are like the two main zombie dramas out there right now. So I think that's why they're being compared a lot. I really think that's all it is. So Laurent being born from a walker, to me, does that mean he could be immune or be the cure or something like that? That's a really interesting idea because, I mean, obviously that is always going to be something that people are going to want to see, right? Like that was something that I think even going back to season 3 with Laurie's death, people wondered with Judith, right? But obviously Laurie was still alive, this and that. But people figured back then that, well, if you were born, you know, I guess after the apocalypse started, what if there was some sort of immunity that you had? It hasn't really been confirmed entirely. I mean, I still don't think that's necessarily the case, but is Laurent the exception? Like, are we going to be going down that route here with the story? Personally, I think it would be really cool. I think they could explore something like that where a character like Laurent is actually immune, right? I think it would just be insane. It doesn't mean he's the cure. That's the thing. Like, in order to get, you know, for him to be the cure is such a crazy thing because, first of all, how would that even happen? Like, I don't know if there's genetics and stuff that scientists would want to know more about and whatever. Then all of those questions would obviously be at play. But I think that's where the CRM could be very interested in characters like Daryl and etc. And I think that's where, you know, a lot of them could get involved in stuff like that. So to me, I think, you know, him being born from a walker is just, first of all, crazy to say. It could really hint at that. And, you know, there's a part of me that still thinks it's very, very unrealistic. And I still overall think that it's probably, you know, I don't think he is the cure overall. I think that, you know, and that's the thing. They're not necessarily saying that he's the cure, but they're also kind of saying that he could be. Like, there's just something special about him. He's a miracle. There's going to be a lot to what he can do that obviously he's going to be able to like fix the world somehow, either through leadership or just something, right? Like, I think they believe, I don't think it's like specifically the cure. I think it's that mixed in with a lot of other aspects, right? Like, they believe he's the next Messiah. So it's kind of a lot of stuff, right? And so we'll have to wait and see where this story goes. Obviously, Laurent is a very, very special character as of now for season 1. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess, where this goes by the end. And if going into season 2, if he's going to be that special of a character, right? Like, maybe there's some truths revealed. I did do a video last night talking about Isabel and whether or not she was trustworthy. Is there some stuff here that she's sort of making up? Is there, you know what I mean? So, and I say that because of her past and all of that. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so let's talk about episode 3 here. There's a lot of new images here. So we do have an image here of Isabel and Daryl. They're in this place here. This looks like it's going to take place at some point in episode 3, probably at Falou's, I don't know what you would call it, but his place. And that's the next image here actually is there's a new character named Falou, and he is a part of the Resistance Network. We don't know a lot about the character, obviously. I think he's going to be, I mean, that's the thing. Is he going to be a big part of the show? I'm not entirely sure. Like, he is an archer, it seems like. There's a shot of him right here. He has this bow and he has arrows here and stuff. And I think this is where he says, "Do you hear that?" or something. Paris is crying. And that's obviously hinting that they are, I guess, at this point, very, very close to Paris. We have a shot here of Daryl, Isabel, Sylvie, and Laurent. And there's other characters. This is when they first arrived to Falou's, I guess, community. There's another shot here. Apparently, this is a new character named Antoine. If I'm saying his name right, he might be an episode 3 character, so we'll just have to see kind of, I guess, where that goes. We have a shot here of Isabel and Laurent, and Isabel at this point is at the nightclub. You can tell because there's speakers in the back. So I think she's probably speaking with Quinn, because I know Quinn is going to be in this scene. And then we have a shot here of a new character named Coco. I believe Coco will be at the nightclub, and I think the nightclub stuff is most likely going to be happening at the end of the episode. It really feels like it's more of a mid-episode to end-of-episode thing, because I just, at least based off of some of the shots here, again, there's a lot of stuff here from episode 3. I might just have to kind of skip through some of the stuff a little quicker, but we do have a shot here of Daryl. We do see Daryl and Isabel, and again, just based off of Isabel's outfit, I think this is from the nightclub. So at this point here, I mean, I don't know why they're going to the nightclub. Is it because of Quinn specifically? That's the thing. I think we need to learn a little bit more about their overall objective, and I mean, obviously they're trying to get to Paris and all of that, or you know, Daryl's trying to get to the port, but there is going to be some things that come up in terms of the story that I think that we need to learn a little bit more about. It makes sense for the first 2 episodes, they weren't going to get into that, but obviously they go and see Falou, and then something's going to happen here where, I mean, I don't know why they have to go to this nightclub specifically. Maybe they're trying to help out Falou. That's possible, but yeah, obviously we'll learn that in episode 3 here. And then we have this shot of Daryl and Isabel. Another shot here of Daryl. We can see the Eiffel Tower in the back. So basically, yeah, he's in Paris now. So that was pretty fast. They got there in 3 episodes. We see Daryl and Laurent. Obviously, that's the Eiffel Tower in the back as well. So this is all part of the same scene here. I'm going to try to get through some of this stuff a little bit quicker because there is actually quite a bit of images here, and it's going to take a bit to get through. But we do see Sylvie and Laurent, and the one thing that we haven't seen much of yet, and I think we're going to get here in this season, is Sylvie and Laurent's relationship. So Sylvie is described, or at least the actress described Sylvie as being sort of like a big sister to Laurent, and we haven't really seen that much yet. Again, it's only been 2 episodes, so I'm not really criticizing the story or anything like that. Like, I think the first episode introduced all the characters in a very good way. Episode 2 focused on the two, like Sylvie and Laurent, really explained that relationship. And now I think we're going to see a lot more of why Sylvie and Laurent are very close as well, and who exactly Sylvie is. Because, like, we haven't got a lot of her, and obviously she is a main character, so we do need to learn a lot more about her. So I think we're going to get that, because we do have a shot here of Sylvie and Laurent here, and it looks like we're kind of getting that. Maybe she's sort of putting him to bed, just kind of saying, like, everything's good, this and that, trying to cheer him up and stuff like that. So I think we're going to see a lot of that here in this episode, and it'll be really cool. But then we do have this shot here of a burner, and you can just tell it's a burner just because of the condensation here on the window. So yeah, this walker looks really creepy. First of all, just the eyes like staring at, I don't know who they're staring at, probably Daryl or whoever, but yeah, you could tell this is a burner, and these are like failed experiments, which is just like insane. Like, first of all, I'm guessing on the failed experiments part, but it makes sense because they're experimenting on walkers and stuff, right? That the ones that are failing are becoming burners, and they're just sort of left out there randomly throughout France and stuff. So yeah, really, really cool shot here. But I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below on just sort of everything, what we talked about before. Do you think Laurent is actually the cure or immune? And I guess some predictions that you have for episode 3. So hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.